Hi guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to square numbers in your head. This is just a little trick that will be helpful if you're just trying to wow someone or something like that. So I just want to say before we start the video that this trick will mostly be used for 2-digit numbers. If you can do this for 3-digit numbers, then kudos to you. But yeah, this trick will probably be most helpful with 2-digit numbers. I'm going to show 2-digit numbers in the example. Okay, so we can start out by thinking of a basic thing that most people know, a lot of people know about. But we can also figure it out. A plus b squared. So we're looking for the square of a number, so this formula will help us, and I'll explain why in a bit. So a plus b squared is a plus b times a plus b. And to do these variables, you can FOIL it, which is first, outer, inner, last. It's just the way you do it. So some people also say the opposite way, but FOIL. It's first, outer, inner, last. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we'll do the first digits, this a and this a. So that's a squared, plus the outer digits, a and b, AB, plus the inner digits, B and A, so AB again, plus the last digits, B and B, so B squared. A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. So that's just pretty simple. It's polynomial multiplication, it's binomial multiplication, but polynomial multiplication. This one's a really simple thing, and I would recommend that you memorize a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, just because it comes in handy a lot, and, well, you don't want to have to FOIL it out like this every single time in your head. Might as well just memorize it. It's really simple, though. So, anyways, with that over, we're going to start to how to actually use this. So say we have a number like 43 squared. We can try to take it apart to match this format. We can make it 40 plus 3 squared. So for this trick, you also need to know all the squares up till 9. Just 1 squared through 9 squared, which is pretty simple to memorize. And you should probably know it anyway. So for this, we can just take this apart. I'd always recommend taking it by the tens digit and the units digit. So this is 43. Don't try to do something fancy like 35 plus 8. Just take it apart as 40 plus 3 squared to make 43. So we're trying to turn this into this. And by taking apart 40 plus 3, we have successfully turned it into that format. We have turned a single digit into a plus b squared, which we've already figured out the formula here. So now we take a squared, so this is our end result, just remember this. Keep this in mind whenever you're doing this. If it helps to write it out before you do this, you can do it. But if you're trying to do this in your head, it'll be simpler. You won't be able to write it out. So first we got the a squared. Since you know your squares from up till 10, you know 4 squared is 16, and then times 10 times 10, so times 100. So it's 1600. If you know 4 squared, then 40 squared, just put 2 zeros in the end because it's 10. So 1600 plus 2ab. So 2 times 40 times 3. You should know your times tables up to, like your multiplication tables up till 10, I guess. So 1 times 2, or 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5, etc. Should know that so that you'll be able to do this easily. And then plus b squared, which is 3 squared, which is 9. Okay, let me write this out so you can tell what each value is. 40 squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay? So plus b squared. And so we get this. And then we can easily do 2 times 40 times 3. It's just 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. And then there's 0, so 240. So 1600 plus 240 plus 9. Adding this is pretty simple. You can add it one part at a time. It might help to say it out loud. For me, that works. So for me, if I was doing this in my head, I would say each part out loud. I'd say 1600 plus, I'd leave the 9 out first. So 1600 plus 240 is 1840. And then I'd add the 9, 1849. So we add this and we get 1849. So we've figured out that 43 squared equals 1849. And now we use the next best way to square numbers, or probably the best way, a calculator. You can see that through the glare. 43 squared equals 1849, which is exactly what we have here. So it worked. So we got that, and that's just super simple. It's a really quick trick just to do it like that. I'll do a couple more examples in case you want to try it out. And so here's the next one. We'll do 80, no, we've already done 89 squared. Okay, so 89 squared. So for 89 squared, what we're going to do, we can, actually, I'd recommend if you're at home to pause this video right now, try to do this on your own, in your head. Or if you can't do it in your head, try to do it on paper first, just like we did above. And then resume this video once you're done. Okay, we're going to do it now. So we have 80 plus 9 squared equals 6,400. We're just going to square 80 right off the bat. 2AB. Let's try to do this in our head. 9 times 8 is 72. 72 times 2 is 144, which I guess I wouldn't expect anyone to memorize everything times 2, but should be able to do things times 2 pretty quickly in your head. If you can't, you might want to try working on just doubling things. It's pretty simple. So 9 times 8, 72. Multiply that by 2, you get 144, and then there's a 0 because it's 80. So 1440. And then we add 9 squared, 81. And then we try to we add this in our head. So 6,400 plus 1440, that's 7840. 7840 plus 81 would be 7841 plus 80 is 7921. Okay. So that's how I do it. I just try to take each part separately. Notice for the 81, I didn't just add 81 straight off the bat. I added 80, then I added 1. So 89 squared is 7921. So we were correct then too. These are all just random numbers, by the way. I didn't handpick these numbers earlier. So that's a really simple way to do it. I'd recommend going through a couple examples by yourself at home. Just get random numbers, ask your relatives for 2-digit numbers, and then do it in front of them, and they'll be like, wow, yeah, you might want to try that, practice that a little bit. It's a lot of fun, and it can come in handy, and even if it doesn't, it's just a fun thing to do on your own. We'll try one more example. We'll do this one entirely in our head this time. 57 squared. It's a little bit easier. So we're going to take it a plus b squared in our head. So we take it 50 plus, so we got 50, and then we got 7. So then we add 50 squared, 2,500, plus 2 times 7 times 50. Before you do, okay, let me just say, before you do the a squared and b squared, which is relatively simple since you know all your squares up till 9 or 10, then I would recommend doing the 2ab part first, multiplying this 2ab first. So we have 50 and 7. That's 350 if you multiply that. 350. Times 2 is 700. Okay, so we got 700. Now we add 50 squared, 2,500. 2,500 plus 700, 3,200. 3,200 plus b squared. B is 7 for us because it's 50 plus 7. So 3,200 plus 7 squared. 7 squared is 49, so 3,249. As we get better, you won't have to say those steps out loud. You can just say them in your head, and yep, 3,249. Corresponds exactly. So that's how you just, a really simple, quick way to square numbers in your head. I'll probably do another video later explaining how to do numbers close to 50 and numbers that end in 5, just because why not? It's much faster. Like, you'll be able to do it much faster than this. So yeah, if you have seen this before in the comments, make sure to say that, or if you have another idea for another video, make sure to say that as well.